Hey y'all, it's Amanda. This is my YouTube channel for A Different Beat. Today we're going to be talking about nutrition tips when you're on vacation. Since normally we eat different foods when we're on vacation, we're eating out more. So how can we stay balanced? How can we feel great when we're on vacation and then afterwards? And then we're going to be getting into a pizza recipe that I made for myself last year in 2020, since it was our anniversary week and we usually have pizza. And I had to make my own. So more on that later, but if you haven't already, click the subscribe button below and we will get into it. So before we get into the meat of this video, I did want to mention I am a certified nutrition and wellness consultant. And what that means is that I can show how to incorporate healthy habits into your life, but I am not a doctor. So if you are thinking of changing your habits in any way, always consult a doctor first. I am vegetarian and I am also allergic to dairy. So the recipes that I'm sharing are those recipes that I make for myself, but I'm not promoting a vegetarian diet. The whole purpose of A Different Beat is that everybody has their own unique beat when it comes to their nutrition. Okay, so let's start talking about vacation. This topic kind of came about because this week is our wedding anniversary, and usually we go on vacation sometime between March and May. But it got me thinking about vacation and what I usually try to do and think about when I'm on vacation, because usually we don't want to think about food. We usually eat out more. If we are in a place that we can cook, we don't go on vacation to cook 3 meals a day, so we're still going to go out to eat. Usually you have more things that you might be intolerant to, that you might be allergic to, coffee, alcohol, things like that, more desserts. So how can you kind of keep things balanced so that during vacation you can still feel your best, but not necessarily worrying about everything that you're eating? And then also feeling your best after vacation, and making sure that you're getting enough sleep through vacation, because that's the whole point of vacation, is to get rest. So let's start talking about our first point, which is hydration. When we're on vacation, a lot of times we're going to be eating differently than what we normally would, right? So water helps our digestive system to keep things moving along, especially since the small intestines will draw water into them. So it keeps things moving along. It helps to digest the things that we might not be used to digesting on a normal basis, so that we don't have like constipation issues, and nobody wants that on vacation, and nobody wants that post-vacation either. The other important thing is that water is needed. When the cells aren't properly hydrated, their ability to produce energy is low. So if you start to feel like you're tired on vacation, try checking how much water that you've drank, making sure that you're hydrated, because that could be an issue. That's usually the number one thing that people notice when they are dehydrated. And then they try to drink more caffeine, which we will be talking about caffeine in just a moment. But at that point, it can actually make you more tired. So just make sure that you stay properly hydrated throughout the day. Just keep a bottle of water on you wherever that you're going. And yeah, stay properly hydrated for your energy and your digestive system. On vacation, I usually have heavier meals, and that's usually due to eating out. Usually, for breakfast, I might have like a veggie egg omelet thing, but when you go out to breakfast, you have like this whole meal, right? So I usually try to make sure that I have fruits and vegetables as part of every meal, and possibly even having one of my meals being a lighter meal, just because usually when I have heavier meals, I feel more sluggish throughout the day. And then obviously with fruits and vegetables, you have your fiber, so that again, with your digestive system and you not eating as normally as you would, it doesn't necessarily get as out of whack as it might. So usually trying to just keep in mind to have fruits and vegetables throughout the day, or at least a part of each meal, is important, at least for me. you have a normal exercise routine that you normally do throughout the week, you don't necessarily have to keep up with that exercise routine, but it is important to continue to be active and move throughout the week. That way that when you go back to your normal routine, it's not as much of a shock. You can easily get back into a workout routine. But also working out and being active helps with our energy level. It increases oxygen in our blood. It increases endorphins. And then that also helps us sleep better at night. So not only does it help increase energy throughout the day, but it also helps us sleep at night as well. Everyone reacts to coffee and alcohol in different ways, so you know your own beat. But I did want to take a minute and talk about both of them. So for coffee, a lot of times if we're on vacation, we can have too much or we have more in the afternoon, which can result in sleep loss. It can result in digestive issues. And then it can also make us feel more anxious, and we don't necessarily want that in our normal life, and we don't necessarily want that on vacation either. So even though that we are on vacation, we still might want to watch our caffeine intake. For alcohol, although it is known to be a sedative and it can make you drowsy and it can help people to fall asleep, alcohol actually has the reverse effect, and it can interrupt our REM sleep. So once we get into our deep sleep, a lot of people realize that when they have alcohol a few hours before they go to bed, they have interrupted sleep and they can't get into that deep sleep that they need, and they feel drowsy and kind of foggy in the morning. So when we're on vacation, we want to feel rested. We want to feel restored. So sleep is important. So just kind of keep those things in mind when it comes to caffeine and alcohol intake. Hey, so real quick, I did want to pop in and talk about caffeine and hydration just as a blurb, and I'm going to be posting the study about this below. But a lot of people thought that caffeine dehydrates you, and even though that caffeine in caffeinated beverages like coffee or green tea, it does have a mild diuretic effect, meaning that it causes us to urinate. If you have an average or a moderate consumption, meaning like 1 to 2 cups a day, it doesn't actually dehydrate you. Excessive drinking of caffeine and caffeinated beverages does, and alcohol is definitely a dehydrator, but just having your normal cup of coffee or tea in the morning doesn't actually dehydrate you. But that's going to be posted down below as well. All right. So to kind of recap what we talked about today, on vacation, you want to make sure that you stay hydrated for energy and for your digestion. Having fruits and vegetables throughout the day for your digestion, and then just having lighter meals. And then staying active, keep moving for energy and your sleep at night. And then to get back to your normal routine once you are back at home. And then lastly, about caffeine and alcohol and its effect on our sleep and our body. So taking these things into consideration when we're on vacation can be important, especially if we want to feel rested after vacation. So I feel like normal people, when they go on their wedding anniversary dinner, it's somewhere fancy, it's somewhere classy. It might be like steak and lobster dinners, we just want pizza. That's all we want all the time. So we have our favorite pizza places. We've even driven 3 hours to go to one of our favorite pizza places and driven back, for real. But there was this one place that is around in the Metroplex that I had, and it was just a veggie pizza, but they topped it with arugula. So that's kind of where this recipe comes in. So this recipe I had made because last year in 2020, our anniversary week was the same week that shelter in place happened here. So I had to go and grab whatever ingredients that were left at the grocery stores at that point. And we made our own pizzas. So there's no creativity points at all. You probably won't even need to write down this recipe. I will have the recipe card so that you can snapshot it so you can have it. But it's just a basic veggie pizza topped with arugula on a flatbread. So let's get into it. I usually line my pans, my baking sheets with parchment paper first, and then I have the flatbreads here, and I drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil because I wanted it to make it crispy. And yeah, you'll see with these ingredients, like this was when the grocery stores, like the aisles were almost empty everywhere. So I was actually kind of glad that I was able to find all of this stuff. So the sauce was just a basic jar of pizza sauce, and you really don't want too much sauce. You can dip it in sauce later if you really like sauce, but you really don't want it too much because then it just slides around and it doesn't do well. So not too much sauce. And then we're going to start adding our ingredients. Now, for this recipe, I actually am using cheese. I don't usually, but usually on, anniversaries, vacation, I have cheese. And for some reason, mozzarella doesn't bother me as much as some of the other cheeses. So I don't know if that's your case as well, if you have to watch your amount of cheese or dairy. Let me know in the comments below because it is kind of interesting to me. So let me know if that's something for you too. I have fresh tomatoes and then bell pepper. So I don't know why, but I never thought that I was a bell pepper person, but every time that I do something Italian, I have to have a little bit of bell pepper. Now, I don't like stuffed bell pepper, like I don't like a lot of it, but like I use it like how I'm using the onions here, just kind of a little bit everywhere. But yeah, usually with Italian things, I will add bell pepper. Anyway, and then this is just sliced canned black olives because that's what I found. So then you're going to want to pop this in the oven. Oh, and I am adding more cheese. Sorry. So then you're going to want to pop this in the oven. And like for mine, it was like 7 to 8 minutes. Oh, more cheese. 7 to 8 minutes. With the ones that I had, just look at the package of whatever that you have. I usually like to turn the broiler on high for maybe like a minute or two to get the cheese to kind of crisp up, and then when it comes out of the oven and it is still hot, you put the arugula on there to wilt, and you're good. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. The recipe, if you need it, for the pizza recipe is linked below. I've also linked below the blog post that talks about the nutrition tips that we talked about in this video. If you have not already, click the subscribe button below and even the little notification bell. I'm going to be posting about every other week. But next week is going to be my very first Find Your Beat video, and it's specifically going to be talking about people who need to be dairy-free. So we'll have a few dairy-free recipes, but we're also going to talk about meeting calcium needs when you need to be dairy-free. All right, so I will see y'all in a few weeks. As always, keep finding your beat, and I will see y'all in the next video. And real quick, since this year we are going to be doing our anniversary at home, I am going to be posting pictures about what we're going to be having for dinner on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, it'll be shown in just a moment. And then also my blog at differentbeat.com. All right, I will see y'all soon. Bye. So